Basically, I just start with a dark graphite pencil. You can use any graphite pencil to mark out the darkest part. But at this point, my pencil wasn't so dark, but I just used my 8B to mark out the darkest part, edges on the iris. After that, I'll start shading in strokes of lines towards the center, because if you see your iris, you see veins on top, but this might not just show so much because everything is black in the reference. Or instead of it to just go black, just do it in layers. Mark out strokes towards the center, then go over it with a cutting board to kind of blend it up, and go over it again with another layer like that. Creating layer kind of brings a little illusion to it, like it's kind of with texture than just shading black at once. Then I kind of use my Q-tip, that's my cutting board, to mark out the edges of the eye. Remember, no matter how white an eye is, the eyeball is never actually pure white. So later you use the cutting board lightly on it. So if you want to create any reflection on the eye where it's whiter, you know that you've already created that a little dark, so you can create a reflection. And I'm using I use hatching and cross hatching for the eye veins near the eyelids, and marking out the darkest part again with my graphite pencil. The only then I'm going to use my 8B just to still mark out the darkest part. The trick about using graphite is layering. You don't really want to go everything straight dark. This trick about my drawing, the way I draw, but I don't really normally use the graphite like this, but it is layering things and on till you get that desired shade which you want. If you don't have a Tombow mono eraser, you can just use an eraser to clean some places. Mark out the edges, still making the hatching, then still making it dark. You can just do it in the direction of the eyes, how the eyes are for now. The blue pencils, when you see the blue pencils, they are the light pencil, while the dark ones are the black, the darker shade. Like the blue pencils I use, most of them are 2B, some are 3B, while the dark ones, most of them are 8B, most of them are 4B. So because the video I made the video fast in a time lapse because it was so long, up to 40 something minutes. I couldn't record everything because of my device, my phone. I was using it to record and review the picture at the same time, which was kind of difficult and making the phone overheat. So it's just basically cross hatching. Then I start using my Q-tip, that's my cutting board, and my graphite powder. I want to blend with some powder on it, to blend. It's kind of cutting board brings a little bit of texture. If you want some skin texture, it brings a little bit of texture than any other tool. In my perspective, it brings texture to it. But using the brush, I also use a brush. Maybe later on you'll see the places I used the brush. That was because I was just wanted to speed up the process a little bit. The problem with it's not really a problem though. The thing about using cutting board or tissue is that it's losing out your contrast, like it makes your work a little darker. That is a kind of blending it. So in case when you use cutting board or tissue, your works are some places are light, which you made darker before, you just go over it with a dark pencil. I'm just going to remember to sharpen your pencil very sharp. That's what I do. Then the this is for the eyelashes, eyebrow. Just do it in this direction. It must not be precise, it must not be all in one direction. Most of them can bend somehow. Our eyelashes, all of them aren't in one direction, though most times they are when we arrange them, but they can be intersected with each other. That makes it more look more real. This is just the basics. I didn't really consider much details about this drawing. So still in the direction. And if you see the eye, the other part of the eye goes down while this goes up. Most times I use cross hatching, and hatching are straight lines that could be in one direction, but they don't intersect each other most times. This is just hatching I'm using to create some kind of veins and lines or the eyebrow and some texture near the eye. I can also go over with like cross hatching in layers. When I go over to in layers, I blend it out with my tissue. Go over in layers, blend out with my tissue. By that, you're creating layers of graphite work, which will make your work very nice. Now, because most part of the reference picture, if you see the reference picture, the eyelashes, some places are dark, so that's why I use the dark graphite pencil. I'm just going to go hatching all over the place, cross hatching all over the place, blend it up with my tissue, go over it to the place, blend it up with my tissue. This video is really to show how you can blend using tissue basically, but as we progress we will learn how to use brush too and how to just use powder, not much of tissue. But what I found out there is that tissue brings a kind of smoother texture to any drawing you're doing. So if you do cross hatching with a light pencil like 2B, 4B, no 2B, HB or H pencil, you can go over with the tissue. It kind of desaturates your contrast too. That's why I need to make it darker. If it gets light, then it makes it the shading very smooth. Go over in layers. I know you might be tempted to just go over it. If somewhere is dark, just go over it dark, but layering is very important. In this point, I used brush in the eyelashes and near the eye. You can also use brush, but this video was not so basically focused on brush work, but this was very late in the night, like 2 o'clock, so I just made it fast before I could sleep. Most of my work I use brush. I also use cutting board. I also use tissue. So in brush work, you just take a paint brush that is dry, use it with graphite powder, make it very light, don't take so much graphite powder, and observe the pressure of your hand when you're doing it. This video is fast, but it doesn't mean I'm pressing so much on my paper. I'm layering. In the place I want it to be dark, yeah, I press so much, but in the place I want it to be a little light and faint, I don't press so much with so much pressure. Then go over the whole face with cross hatching and blend out with tissue. That's the process I use in creating smooth skin texture. If you want a very smooth skin texture, go over with cross hatching, then blend out with the tissue. Then if you need a little bit of texture to it, use the cutting board and graphite powder. Still cross hatching, then blend it out with a tissue. Then you can also blend it out with blending stump if you want. Blend stump kind of doesn't make it work so light when it makes it a little bit dark somehow. Then I use a 8B graphite pencil for that darkest part. I don't know, my graphite pencil, my 8B isn't that dark, but if you have a graphite pencil higher than 8B, you can use it for the darkest part, be it 9B, be it 10B or 12. You can use it for that darkest part of the drawing. And just shade it just to make that place very dark. Then the basic thing about this video is just cross hatch with your pencil, with your light pencil, blend out with your tissue, and most time if you want some texture, use your powder and your earbud and